What coffee are we on, lad?
I have got the thermal mug again because we started
Nice.
talking maybe 30 minutes ago and I wanted it to be warm. And it is it's still warm and it's got that. Oh, I love that smell. Ocadio, I think it's called. It's quite light and fruity. Ooh, nice.
Do you know what really used to piss me off before I actually started like tasting coffee and thinking about it? When people used to say fruity and like describe coffee with like actual other flavors. Like when you say fruity, it doesn't actually taste the fruit at all, but it's like a hint. It's like unbelievably low level hint of fruit.
Yeah, it's got just a little like, I don't know, there's just something there.
Yeah, like yesterday, the other week when I said the espresso was creamy. It's like it's the most sour thing in the world.
Yeah.
But like when your palate becomes accustomed to it, you can just taste these tiny, tiny hints. Maybe that's why people who like aren't into coffee, when they taste like a specialty coffee, it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck's this? It's disgusting.
Like I remember the first time I went to Neighborhood Coffee, I actually went to their like factory where they put it all together in Bootle.
Yeah.
And bought some straight from there. And I was chatting to the guy and he was like, what kind of flavor do you like? What you kind of what? And like it was the first time I'd ever bought coffee beans, and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, this one's like dead chocolatey, and he was like going through all the different flavors that they do, and I was just like, that one, give me that one. I think I just said to him like, what's the what you sell the most of? I go back now and be like, I like a slight fruity, mild, not too sour. And he'd be like, okay, yeah, we've got this one.
I need to get back on the El Salvador, lads. It's the heaviest one. Have they got any new nice ones out?
I haven't looked, you know. That was
Well,
ages ago when I went to that.
I'm on the Press Bros latte again. I need to ask them what actual bean they use.
Where's that from?
Press Bros on Loch Lane.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's pretty cold.
You need to get yourself a little thermos mug and just take that down and be like, can you make it enough for me?
No, but it's nice. I've already reviewed this one I've had this a couple of times. I want to try Crosby Coffee,
Nice.
which is like literally like 2 doors down. But I think I'll try that next time.
Can we tell everyone about next week yet, or what?
Do you reckon? I reckon we should just whack it on them next week.
Just drop it on them next week.
Yeah.
Okay, sound. I'm excited. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about coffee next week, though?
We're gonna have to go to 92 Dags, I reckon.
Yeah.
I've got a Sage Bambino Plus on the order, mate. So maybe you could bring that in to the place that we're going to be doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And then everyone can see it. And we can make coffee live on air.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah. Maybe figure out how to use it first, and then
that'll be funny because everyone will just see us fucking
just not having a clue how to use this thing.
Right, today, what are we speaking about, lad?
We're speaking about training, more specifically, the fact that far too many people train too much and don't see enough results, or just simply aren't training hard enough or resting hard enough. Basically just training and all of the things that we see go wrong and what you can do to fix it.
Yeah, because so many times you see people training like every day, or like training even like 6 times a week, and just training and putting so much effort in all the time and just not seeing results.
Yeah.
And it becomes very demotivating. It becomes very frustrating because you're applying all of this effort, you're putting all of this work in, and you're seeing next to no results. And then you look at other people and they're just flying, and it looks like and feels like you're working harder than them. But actually, it's not about working hard. It's about working smart. And you're just probably training like a dickhead. So we're going to tell you how to not train like a dickhead today.
Yeah. We spoke kind of on this subject the other day. And I spoke about it in my story the other day about how I don't start work till 10 o'clock, and neither do you. and we were grinding ourselves into the ground work-wise, getting really frustrated about it. When, in fact, if we actually just take that time, I've had a fantastic week this week. Started work 10 half 10 every day. Work till late because I do, and I enjoy that. But a really productive, non-stressy, like every day. I've gone, good day today.
Nice.
Love
that feeling at the end of the week.
Yeah, like today I feel fucking boss. I've got a couple of messages to reply to, which I'm looking forward to, like speaking to people. And it's not like a couple of weeks ago where it was like, oh my God, I've got all this stuff to catch up on. And I think people feel like that. Well, I feel like that with me training. But I think on the flip side, people feel how I felt the other week. But when it comes to like working out and exercising and stuff, they're like, oh my God, I didn't get 5 or 6 workouts in this week. I've got to try and squeeze one in on Saturday. Oh my God, I'm just like, if I don't work out 7 times this week, I'm not going to get the results that like, look at that girl on Instagram, look at that guy on Instagram. Like, they must be training so hard all of the time. Like, I need to go and work out more. Like, I need to work harder. I need to go and do another HIIT workout. I need to go and book another spin class in. It's like, whoa, just come back down.
Just fucking chill.
Yeah.
Just chill, man.
Like, I won't name names because we're not about that. Like, and it's not to slag someone off. It's just it's just something you see in the industry. Like, it's that post I seen this morning that I sent to you about someone saying that their client trains multiple times a day and how hard they work. And great, like they're shouting about their client working really hard, which is fantastic. And this is what we're talking about today. The clients and you guys listening obviously have got the motivation and the drive that you want these results and you're working really hard, and we're not knocking that. But when I see that, and when I see, well, they're training 2 times a day, my initial thought is, why? Like, what are you doing? And we said this before we started recording, didn't we? What are you doing in those 2 workouts that you can't condense down into one by working a little bit harder, training a little bit smarter, and then going about the rest of your day?
I think it's not even so much like what could you get done? What could you not get done in that first workout? It's just more like we want the absolute maximum input from the least amount of work possible. Would we say that? I think it's fair for every single human in existence would agree with that. You want to get the maximum amount of output in terms of growth, progress, all of that with the minimum amount of effort. So it's like, you don't have to train twice a day or even 7 days a week. I train 3 days a week. I go in the gym 3 days a week and that's it. And my physique is transforming. I actually train five times a week, but 2 of them are jiu-jitsu, so I don't really count that in terms of like actual physique progression. But it's not a case of quantity, it's a case of quality. So what's your training intensity like? What is your training quality like? What's your form like? Like, are you tracking your lifts? Are you sleeping well? Are you eating properly? Like, are you doing all of the absolute basics really well? And then when you do that, and then you start layering on top a bit more frequency, a little bit more volume and all of that, then you see unbelievable results. But if you haven't got all of these basic foundational principles absolutely nailed down, like, you're not training hard enough like I said this to you before we start, it's nothing necessarily wrong with training twice a day. Like, you might be an elite athlete or a fighter or something, and you're training twice a day because you need to. And you also might be in the camp of, I just love training, so I just want to train twice a day. I'm not really bothered about the progress that I'm making. I just absolutely love training, and I want to go for a run in the morning, then I want to go on my bike in the evening or whatever it is. But like, if you're bothered about physique progression or changing your body, or even not even changing your body, if you're a normal person and you're trying to achieve unbelievable results, you need to be training very hard, and you can't train as hard as you need to twice a day. It just doesn't happen. I need a nap after training. I can't train twice a day.
You can, I would disagree. I think you can, but to be able to do it, that's your day. Like, professional athlete, fighter whose soul gets paid to fight, and they're in a fight camp for the next 6 months.
Yeah. Well,
you can train twice a day, because they will do exactly that. They'll get up in the morning, maybe go and do like a conditioning session, eat, sleep, have a nap, get some fucking rehab work done, feel fresh as fuck in the afternoon because they've had fucking 4 hours sleep,
Yeah.
and then go and train again. But
Yeah.
if you're getting up at 5 o'clock because you want to go to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, then you've got work from 9 till 5, and you've been sat down at a desk all day, and you've had a fucking meal deal for your lunch, and you've fucking had about fucking 9 coffees, and you're wired to the moon, and then you go into fucking the gym at 6 o'clock at night, and you're having a pre-workout before you go to the gym, and then you go and train. Like,
And then you're coming back and you've got all the housework to do, and you
yeah.
fucking your husband slash wife or girlfriend slash boyfriend is absolutely stressing you the fuck out, and just your kids are running around doing madness, and you've got to deal with that. It's like you're not recovering from that.
No.
And that's the main thing. It's not so much that you can't train this. If you have the capacity to be able to recover from 2 unbelievably hard sessions a day, from fucking flying, go and do it. The more you do, then you will get better results, provided you can recover from it. All training is effectively, what training is in the crux of it is stimulating some sort of response from your body. So you go in, lift some heavy shit, your body says, oh shit, I need to get stronger, I need to be able to lift that next time I come to do it. Then your body goes through the process of recovering, and then you just do it again. You just do it over and over again. You stimulate a response, achieve the adaptation, do it again. That's it. But if you can't do that process of achieving the adaptation because you haven't recovered between sessions, that's the time where you actually grow. You don't grow whilst you're training. You grow when you're resting. You grow when you're having that time to rest and sleep and recover. And if you're not allowing that process, or you're driving too much training in, too much stimulus, but you're unable to recover from any of it, you're not actually going to achieve the results that you're looking for. So it baffles people's heads when they're training so hard all the time and they're not receiving the results. It's because you're doing too much. It's literally your body cannot recover from what you're giving to it, so there's no point in doing it.
I think that's a really, really important point that we should sort of go back to that. I think a lot of people either don't understand or miss. That when you train, that's not the growth. Like that, the training, I think you described it in the past as like, that's the input of information.
Yeah.
So your body, you go and train, you lift this weight that's like the most you've ever lifted, or you do what you run hard or whatever, and you push your body to that limit or what it perceives to be its limit. Then it's got all of this information then, and then you leave the gym. And then what's supposed to happen if you want to progress is that you have some portion of your day then to rest and recover and recuperate, where your stress levels come down, where you're calm, where you're relaxed. You give yourself some food to help recover from that. And then in that recovery portion, that's when your brain goes, okay, let's fucking have a look over all of that fucking information we received when we worked out today, and figure out how the fuck we adapt to manage that the next time it happens. Like, it's not adapting as it's happening because it's busy dealing with the thing that's fucking happening. But if you don't put that portion in afterwards, the information's almost like piling up.
Yeah.
To create like an analogy, it's like you've got all of these notes in your notebook from working out, but if you don't sit down and read the notes later on, you just end up with piles and piles of notes and you don't do anything with them.
Yeah. It's like, if you disrupt that process where you give your body the information to grow, if you disrupt the actual growing process, then you're not growing. Like, or you're not adapting, whether it's muscle growth or whether it's running fast or swimming or fighting, whatever it is. Like, you need to allow your body the time to actually make the changes that you've stimulated. And if you're constantly training, constantly working above your recovery capacity, this is a term that I always use because I think it's nice to visualize a capacity. I say recovery capacity for a reason, because it's almost like there's a tank. There's like, if you imagine, like, there's so much that you can actually recover from. If you envision it, it's like I like to envision it like a petrol tank.
Yeah.
You think of training volume as getting closer and closer and closer towards the top of that tank. Once you go above it, you're spilling over and you're fucked. You're not going to actually progress from that point. But we want it right at the top. We want it where your training volume is so high that you're achieving maximum adaptation, but also not so high that you're spilling over and you're not able to recover. you want it so high that you're achieving great results, but you're still easily able to recover from it. And that there is the sweet spot, because then you can do that for months on end, 6 months, a year, and periodically slapping in deloads every now and then, obviously. But when you do that consistently, that's when you see unbelievable results. When people come in, we'll see it in January, no doubt. People won't have trained for 3 months, and because obviously, what the fuck's the point in training after summer? What the fuck? January, right? I'm gonna be fucking 5 salads a day, and I'm gonna train 7 times a week, and I'm gonna go to the sauna, and I'm gonna start doing cold water immersion, I'm gonna start meditating and journaling, and just like you do it for 2 days, and then something will happen, and or even let's say you manage to do it for a bit. At the end of January, you'll be fucked. You'll be absolutely distraught.
Yeah, which is what I wanted to say. You fed into nicely what I was about to say there, is that if you don't actively recover, like your body's smarter than you, like your the autonomous function in your body. I couldn't even speak there. Like the shit that goes on behind the scenes that you don't really have control over will override your conscious actions. So if you refuse to rest, if you refuse to take time off, then your brain will just go, right, okay, you can't be trusted to be in control right now. So we're going to step in. And like, I always envision the brain as like these little worker bodies. Like there's an office in there that all sit down and have a little meeting and stuff. And like, there's the conscious brain and the subconscious brain. And the subconscious brain goes, right, okay, well, we let the conscious brain make some decisions about training and exercise and rest. And you didn't give us enough rest. So now what we're going to do, right, is you're going to get sick. Okay. Deal with that. Take some time off. And you're also going to pick up an injury. Deal with that. Take some time off. Because we told you, we were screaming at you to take some time off, and you never. So have this. Yeah. Here's a nice cold that wipes you out for a couple of weeks because you need rest. Yeah. I think I've mentioned this before, and Demartini speaks about it, that sickness is a response to your actions. Yeah. Like, you will get sick.
This baffles people's heads sometimes, right? When I'm trying to explain it to someone for the first time. Because you're displaying symptoms of sickness does not mean you've been infected with something. I have many times felt like I've got the flu after the gym session for about 2 hours. Remember when we used to train on Saturday mornings for like 4 hours?
Oh, don't. Yeah, I'd feel ill.
Like leg sessions. It wasn't even so much that the leg sessions were mad. They were heavy. There was like, we had like 6 working sets with very intense sets. But we were training and we were just chatting and we were seeing people in the gym. And so the session lasted 4 hours. So our nervous system was constantly like on the go for 4 hours, like in a full on fight or flight mode for 4 hours straight. And that probably shouldn't be there for that long. We leave the gym.
Unless you are genuinely trying to like survive.
Yeah. Like every single time I had to have a nap. So I'd have a nap when I came back, and then I'd be ill for the rest of the evening. And then maybe come 7, 8 o'clock, I'd be fine. But that was not me being infected with something. That was my body under such immense levels of stress and fatigue that the inflammation response was so high that it's just created an immune response. And my body started sneezing, because that's just an automatic thing that happens with the immune response. And I've started getting a fever, and I've started like, whenever I'm getting ill, my cheeks go proper red. And that would happen. And it's just like, my body just created an immune response because it was so fucking stressed out.
Well, even like, and then on the flip side of that, like training, your stress levels being so high, you all right, mate?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on with the screen. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's the sun coming in from the side.
Yeah, I've just shut the curtains. Carry on anyway.
You become like slightly immune suppressed when you're fatigued, like your immune system. So something that, if you weren't training so hard, or if you weren't training past your what do you call it, your
recovery capacity,
past your recovery capacity, you might pick up, someone might sneeze next to you, and it's something that your immune system would on a normal day go, yeah, got that. There it is. Wrap it in, or like fucking wrap it up, strangle it, kill it, starve it. get rid of it, flush it out, good to go, carry on. But because your immune system also plays a role in recovering from training, like you've got to reduce the inflammation from training, you've got to get rid of all of the fucking waste product from working out. It's focusing on that as well as focusing on shit with sick. And it's split between the two jobs. And this is why we say, like, if you're sick, don't train, because you're gonna prolong how long you're sick for. Because
I had to tell Rach to not train for like the first 2 weeks, and she was
yeah.
Like she was like, oh, I just want to get going. I was like, listen, lad, like,
yeah, tough.
You're gonna have to rest. Because can I just say as well, that unbelievably quick explanation of how you kill a bacteria was unbelievably specific. Did you mean that? Like that was so perfect in the actual process of how your body deals with bacteria. Did you?
Yeah.
That was it was unbelievable. Just colloquial words to describe exactly what it does. It was so it was very good.
Yeah.
Did you say wrap it up and strangle it and shit
wrap
like
it,
that?
Yeah. Wrap it up, strangles it, kills it, flushes it out. Essentially, like starves it. Which is essentially what happens.
That is so close to what actually is going on.
Yeah.
Perfect words. Well done.
Thanks.
Anyone who's into immunity or has studied it before will appreciate what Jack's just done there. Well done.
I need things explained to me so that a 5-year-old can understand it, because I'm very like visual. Do you know what I mean? And so I explain it, like when I'm telling you about the little people in my brain.
Yeah.
But that helps me remember how shit works, and then if I understand how shit works, I understand it, and I remember it.
Well done, lad.
Yeah.
So effectively, just to sort of bring us back to the conversation, we have a recovery capacity. We have so much stuff that we're currently able to recover from. We don't want to go over and above that because we will drive fatigue up. And if fatigue is too high, then our body will start fighting against you. You will start seeing less progression in the gym. You'll start seeing no progression in the gym, probably. You'll start potentially getting run down, feeling ill, being less productive in other areas of your life. Blah, blah, blah. Driving fatigue up is a negative. Driving fatigue up is probably the one thing which holds people back the most, I would say. Like if you're good enough, if you're good at, if you can train hard, if you can eat well and sleep well consistently and you're adhering to your program, probably the only thing that would stop you progressing ever is fatigue. Like if you're just, there's nothing else that can really stop you, really. Is there? Could you think of anything? It's just, if you manage fatigue and you're consistent and everything is great, you will achieve unbelievable results, provided you stick to it for a long period of time. And so managing fatigue is one of the biggest things that we need to do. So we want to create enough stimulus in the gym or through your training or whatever it is, so that you can recover from it consistently and easily, whilst also getting a maximum level of results from that. So how do you actually go about working out someone's recovery capacity, Jack?
Well, I think first we need to touch on understanding people. I think people have a misconception of what you should feel like after a workout or what you're trying to achieve within the workout.
Yeah.
So like there's some sessions where we've done like the leg sessions where like we went to I'm gonna call it UP, not UP, Ultraflex. Maybe there was a U in it. We went to Ultraflex and like I sat in the car afterwards and then I couldn't walk because like my legs had cramped up and stuff.
Yeah.
That's like a once in a blue moon kind of workout. Like, and then I had to take a couple of days off because of the amount of recovery required for a workout like that.
Yeah.
Like you're not looking for that every session. You're not looking for like, for people who are like massive into HIIT or like go to spin or go to like CrossFit or like any kind of S&C stuff. And they don't feel like they've done a workout unless they leave absolutely dripping in sweat and like unable to walk. And that's not what it's about. Like, and I think that's hard for people who have that understanding or have that belief that that's what they need to feel like after a workout. If you just want to feel like that and you don't care about changing your physique, then great, go mash yourself into the ground. If it's something that you need to do for like your mental health or like to get out aggression or whatever, and that's your reason for training, great. But we're not really talking about that today. What we're talking about today is changing your physique, changing the amount of muscle you have, or how strong you are, or how well you're actually able to perform in the gym, and how that reflects on how your body looks. Not all of the other plethora of reasons why people go to the gym. So if that's what you do, great. But we're talking about physique, strength, muscle. And a lot of the time you leave the gym and go, do you know what? You might feel like you could have done a bit more, and that's okay. Like, we're not asking you to go and leave everything in the gym in every single workout. And like some workouts you don't like. I sweat like fuck. Some people don't sweat doing like resistance training. So when they go, because they do like spin and they sweat like fuck, because spin's always just sweaty, isn't it? It's a room with like 30 people all cycling and there's never any aircon. So it's a sweaty room. You leave sweating and you're like, oh yeah, I must have worked out because I'm fucking dripping with sweat.
Yeah.
So then you go into like a big air conditioned gym and do a resistance training session. A really good resistance training session, perfect amount of volume, perfect weights, and taking yourself to the correct amount of failure each set, but don't sweat and go, I don't think I worked that hard today.
Yeah.
Or the next day, oh my God, well, I wasn't that sore. Like,
Yeah.
I could walk, my legs weren't hurting. Like, good.
Yeah.
Good. So you could function like a normal human being after you trained yesterday. Great. Well done.
I agree with you there, but I'm not even like, I always say this, I don't give a fuck about how you felt the next day, because I'm not saying it's good that you don't feel sore and you can walk, because I feel sorry for you and I want you to be able to walk. Don't give a fuck about that. It's so that you can come in and train and the next day, if it's programmed, and be effective.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't give a fuck if you walk. I just don't give a fuck. If you can't walk, who cares? Just fucking crawl if you need to, or pull yourself up the banister, like I always have to after a leg day, or fall back. If anyone on YouTube will be able to see this, you're trying to sit on the toilet, you've got to like grab the walls and like fall back and then land.
But even that, for 99% of people, is counterintuitive, because their goal initially, a lot of the time, is fat loss.
Yeah.
So the training is yet to get them stronger and all of the other fucking health benefits of training, resistance training. But the goal is to get you to move as much as possible. So if you then go, like, it's one of my bugbears is seeing a Gen Pop client leaving the gym after a PT session hobbling.
Yeah.
And I know that their goal is fat loss. And it's like, okay, well, you're not going to want to move tomorrow. Yeah. You're not going to want to walk. You're not going to do your steps.
Yeah. Like, it's not because when we're saying this, is not because we're being nicey. It's like, oh, I don't want you to be sore tomorrow. It's like, no, you've got work to do tomorrow, so you need to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, I don't want you to be sore because I feel bad that your legs are sore. It's like, well, yes, I want you to work hard enough in this session, but I also need you to do 12, 15,000 steps tomorrow. You've got to run. It's Monday and we're doing legs, but you've got a 5K run on Wednesday, and I need you to be able to do a 5K run.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, we're going to work hard today, but bigger picture thinking, are you going to get sore knees in 3 weeks' time if I mash you every Monday and then run every Wednesday?
It's about looking at the program as a whole, having longevity in mind, and understanding how all of the variables interplay together. It's not about every single session just turning up on a Monday and doing just whatever the fucking obliterating yourself and then
go to war.
Go to war. But this is where so program design comes into it for me here, and I think potentially this is where we may differ a little bit. It's like most of my clients are here to get like silly amounts of muscle, so the training does have to be do or die, like to the death, like I'm gonna rip someone's head off sort of intensity. Well, that's where I'm trying to get people to anyway, and that's just sort of how it has to be if you want to build muscle. Like, if your primary goal is build muscle, it just has to be like that. But then what we need to understand is how that affects your recovery capacity. So when you're bringing such a high level of intensity, the fatigue incurred is large. And so we need to then understand, it's like right now I'm training 3 times per week because I've also got jiu-jitsu twice a week. And it's like, if I was to push 4 sessions or 5 sessions, I'd be fucked. It's like even on my rest days, I've got cardio twice a week as well. So it's like every single day I'm training, but it's a manageable amount of training.
Yeah.
If you were to look at my sessions, they don't look that heavy. Like there's like 2-3 working sets on like most things. So like 2 working sets on a press and whatnot. And it's just like I'm never running 4 sets, 5 sets, because I understand that I need to bring a high level of intensity. If I'm to run high volume with that, or a volume that I'm currently unable to recover from, I'm going to push me fatigue too high, and I'm not going to be able to continue for the rest of this training block. I'm going to have to implement a deload for no reason. And so it's about understanding, right? Yeah, we're going to have to train really hard, but we have to understand how that hard training is going to affect your recovery capacity. It's going to affect how you are able to recover for the next session. And so the first thing that I always do with clients, did you see this did Rach show you a timeline?
No.
Well, basically, I always like to have a period where we establish what I like to call, I robbed this from Ross. This term, I like it, baseline volume. So baseline volume effectively is what I've just said before, is where you have the point where your level of training volume is high enough where you're achieving great results, but it's not so high that you can't recover from it. And that's your baseline. You could run that forever, always recover from it, always achieve results, always keep moving forwards. And so spending that first initial month or two, assessing that, running with what I think is someone's baseline, and then seeing how they respond to it, seeing what their energy levels are like, seeing what their sleep's like, seeing what their numbers look like in the gym. Are they going up? Are they going down? Like, what's going on? Assessing all of the information that is presented to me, and then being like, right, well, that's probably their baseline level of volume. Now, let's see when the time is right. If we introduce a set here and there for the next 4 weeks, let's see, maybe I'll add a working set to a press and run that for 4 weeks. And then on the pull session, I'll add a working set to a lat pull down, a log session, I'll add it to a leg press or whatever, run that for 4 weeks. How did the data change? Were they able to recover from that? And just assessing what their baseline level of volume is, and constantly understanding that recovery capacity is like a moving thing. And that for me is key at first, is to do that, to make sure that we're not driving fatigue too high. I had a conversation with one of my clients this morning who's started professional wrestling, which is like WWE shit.
Yeah, love it.
But the training sessions are like 2 hours of like just circuit training and a hit and just insane shit, just unbelievable. Like working in like the fucking zone 5 for like 2 hours. It's ridiculous.
Mad.
And he asked me if he can start training in the gym in the morning before those sessions. I was like, no, not at all. Because it's just the fatigue that will be incurred on that day is just ridiculous. You'll need a deload in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's about being almost methodical. For me, it is anyway, being methodical in the way that you approach the training program and the escalations that you make in training volume. So you're never going above that recovery capacity until it comes to
the considerations are the same for me in the program, and like the programming considerations and how I choose the program are the same. Like I'm asking the same questions. It's just the outcome is different.
Yeah, it's just a different context, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a different context. So you're looking essentially to build the most amount of tissue in the fastest amount of time and in the most effective way. I'm looking for someone to feel fantastic in all aspects, and
yeah,
muscle building isn't primary number one. Like good all round life is.
Yeah.
And so
it could be something for you. It could be like if you introduce another set into someone's trainer, or you introduce another session, let's say, like an extra session across the week, and then so over the next couple of weeks, like I don't know what sort of things you look for in check-ins, but one of the questions I always have is, what was your mood like this week? If I get them to rate it out of 10 and then speak about it a little bit. If you notice that rating starting to slowly go down, it's like,
yeah,
that's set needs to be pulled out.
So for me, I'm not looking, well, I am, but I'm not looking at the session quality almost. I'm looking at the life quality.
Yeah.
So my check-in questions, so Wednesdays I check training and nutrition separate to the check-in. and we'll assess that then. But at the end of the week, I'm asking them what they've got coming up in life, as in like, how's work? What are the kids doing? Like, what other stresses have you got that are gonna mean that training is a negative rather than a positive? And that'll dictate the training volume, because for a lot of my clients, they train to feel good. So if I ended up like, oh, we need to train harder, you need to push yourself more. Well, actually, you've got a fucking really stressful work week at the moment, and you're fucking knackered from that. So going to the gym 5 times might make you feel really good because you've got 5 days of really stressful work. But we're going to do absolutely fucking nothing in those 5 sessions, so that we're not creating a huge amount of extra stress to deal with. Rather than being like, okay, well, we need to train twice because we need to get the most out of these 2 sessions to build as much muscle as possible. It's all, you want to feel good by going to the gym. So how do we do that without that fucking up the rest of your life?
It's about understanding the clients, as you say, as well. Like, it's going to be dependent on the person. So like someone who might come in and like just want to train every day. Like I've got a client, Jamie, who just gets kettled if he has a rest day. So he trains 6 days a week. So after talking about it, train 6 days a week, and even on his rest day, he goes in and does a bit of like mobility work, just because he just wants to be in the gym. It's like, right, sound. I know that it's going to do more harm than good to tell you to rest twice a week, so I'm just going to let you go to the gym, but I'm going to manipulate your training in such a way where you can still recover from it. So it's just a very low level of stimulus, a very low level of stresses incurred in each session, so you're still across the week still able to recover from it.
Well, perfect example, and I'm sure she won't mind me talking about it. Your mum, trains like mad, is into her training, trains hard, and when she started was telling me about all these HIIT workouts and stuff she was doing, but has got a very stressful job, and we need to manage that stress in the best way possible. And she's also got a bit of a knee pain issue. So to give her the perception of training hard, 2 of her sessions a week are a knee, I call it kneehab instead of rehab. She's got a kneehab workout, which for where her ankle, knee, like single leg ability is a really challenging workout, but it doesn't involve her mashing herself into the ground. So she can recover really well in terms of like, she's not adding more fatigue to her body. But she also feels like fucking I've been really challenged there, because she's challenging a CNS, she's challenging a proprioception, she's challenging her ability to balance on one foot and stuff. So she comes away from it fatigued in the brain because she's had to think loads to get through the workout. But she doesn't come out of the workout thinking like, oh my God, I can't walk. So she's making progress with that. Like, she couldn't finish the first session. She messaged me this week and was like, I couldn't complete that. And I was like, great, good. Didn't want you to. Just want you to try it and see where we're at. And that's the base. Like you said, finding a baseline of, okay, well, that's where we're at.
Perfect. Absolutely flying. We're gonna go for a walk around Sefton Park tomorrow. I'm gonna ask her how she's getting on. I'm gonna ask her if you're any good.
Well, I'm absolutely sick. Do you know why?
Why, lad?
Sent me less than ideal star photos. So couldn't fully see like her legs and like her hips and her feet. And she was like, I've got knee pain. And I went, is it your left knee?
Nice.
And she was like, yeah, it is. I was like, yeah, you've got valgus knee because your left foot's arch is slightly collapsed. I was like, have you ever been diagnosed with like collapsed arches or like flat feet? And she was like, no. I was like, well, yeah, that's why you've got knee pain. She's got valgus knee. Why didn't you tell me?
Well, lads, your job. You should know that.
Like, done it, mate. Don't need to tell me. Spotted it.
Trusted you, lad. Look at the photo straight away. You can see. No, it came from poor PTing in the past. From one of her old PTs, just didn't identify knee caving in on the leg press all the time, and then it just excessively became worse, and now it's actually a little bit damaged. I don't think a flat foot is necessarily a bad thing. Like when you actually look biomechanically, it doesn't always have to affect the knee. But if it does and it's consistently happening and it causes damage, once your knees are fucked, they're a bit fucked, aren't they? So I have no doubt you'll sort it out, lads.
We're gonna try. We're doing a lot of arch work stuff.
Yeah.
Towel grabs, the toe towel grab.
Get away in Vibrams.
Well, this is the thing. Shoes.
For Christmas.
Wreck your feet. Get us some. I'm gonna try them Vio. What are they called?
Vivo.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a pair of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Shoes affect foot mechanics, and foot mechanics affect
yeah.
knee mechanics, and knee mechanics affect hip mechanics. And if your knee's sore, it's probably not your knee's fault.
It's probably your foot.
The goal, completely off topic, but we'll talk about it because it's interesting. So the goal here is because his mum's foot doesn't create a strong enough arch. This means it allows her knee to travel inwards because her foot would prevent that. The arch in her foot would sort of prevent that in like a knee bending movement. So the goal over the next couple of weeks is to create or to just practice her ability to crunch her feet up so that she can actually create an arch in her foot, which will then allow her to be able to force her knee outwards a little bit. Should hopefully then maybe not fix the knee pain, but it will definitely stop her knee going where it doesn't really want to go and making the knee pain worse.
Fantastic, lads. So I want to give everyone an example to get back to the topic of overtraining and what it actually looks like. I said this to you at the start before we started recording. A perfect example. I remember one of my clients, Elliot, he started with me about, I think it was a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer. Can't really remember the exact sort of time frame, but he sent me his training program when he first started, and at the end of, I'm pretty sure at the end of a push session, he had 16 sets of triceps, 4 exercises and 3 or 4 sets on every single one of them, and then the same on biceps after pull. And I just seen it immediately and was just like, lad, yeah, I was just like, what are you doing? Like, what? This is a prime example of what we're talking about, because it's just such an unbelievable waste of time. His arms wouldn't grow, and it was way above and beyond what he could recover from. And I said to him straight from the office, like, I don't need to know anything about you, but I know that's too much for you. We hadn't even done the consultation yet. He sent me it before we spoke. I was like, that's too much. That is just way too much for anyone. No one needs that level of that much training volume for their arms. And he was doing like pushing, so it was basically like 35 sets a week, 32 sets a week. It's just like, you just do not need that. Stop. The first thing we did was strip it right back. 3 sets of biceps a week, 3 sets of triceps a week, or a session. So 6 in total for both biceps and triceps. And we nailed down execution. It was perfect. We nailed down training intensity, took it to the death every set. And then his arms started blowing up. And now his arms are one of the best parts of his physique. But previously they just weren't growing. He's just sort of finished a little mini cut before he went away a couple of weeks back. And his biceps are just fucking a joke. It's ridiculous. But it's because he was actually working within his recovery capacity. And obviously it's escalated since then. But we brought it and scaled it all back to something you could recover from. Built the foundational principles of execution and intensity. He ate a lot of food, he slept well consistently, and then just continually drove hard. And then we collected data, escalated volume as appropriate, and now his arms are massive. And that's what it takes. It's not about just going in and just being like, I'm going to just smash my arms up and they're going to grow. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. It's actually quite complicated, this fitness stuff. People think it's easy.
Yeah.
It's not, lad.
It's really not. This is why we say all the time when we speak about big people with a lot of muscle who are quite arrogant about it. And you always say, I know why you're big, and I know more about why you're the size you are than you do.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things I've ever said that.
It is. It's one of my favorite things I think you've ever said to me. Like, we have this thing, like, we're not like, there are a lot of people out there that have a lot more muscle than us and been training a lot longer than us. But we know a little bit. We definitely don't know everything, but we know what we know. But people will become quite defensive if you question their methodology, mostly from a place of insecurity because they don't fully understand it.
Yeah.
And so become quite defensive about it. And it's like, and this is where your thing comes in of, I know more about why you're the size you are than you do.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a dick when I'm questioning the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
I can just see that there are better ways to do it.
See, it's not even when you question it. It's just when you do something different that's not what they do, they get offended.
Yeah.
And that's when you know it's from insecurity. What's actually going on here? And I was saying this to Mentored by Maya. Change the name.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm with that. Yeah.
The other day, she put, what's an unpopular opinion in fitness? And I went, every training program works. Because people love to think that there's something special, there's like some secret thing, there's some secret type of rep scheme, or there's some secret type of nutrition, there's a perfect diet, or it's high volume versus low volume, or like JP back off and all that shit. It's like, no, they all fucking work. Like, provided that you're doing everything we just spoken about, so you're not driving fatigue too high, obviously, but they all work. But people get offended if you're not doing what they're doing. But every single training program achieves the same thing. There's no difference. Like when I put a band on the Smith press, I'm still fucking my chest up just as much as you are, just in a slightly different way. We're still creating the same response in the chest muscle.
Yeah.
The way that you've done it slightly different to the way that I've done it, but I do it my way because this is my way. You do your way, but don't be offended because we've got different ways of doing things. Like, why are you offended? It's ridiculous.
Why are you getting upset about it? Like,
it's because it's because the whole persona and personality is training.
Yeah,
that's all they are. The whole everything about them. They don't have any other aspect of themselves. It's all training. It's all the gym. It's all about how big they are. And so when someone challenges what they believe, they have an identity crisis. They're like, oh, what the fuck? You're fucking skinnier than me, so what the fuck are you talking about? And it's like, oh, lad, just shut up, man.
We've said this before, like, your muscles don't know what's creating the stimulus on the outside. Like, I could literally push against your arm 50 times and mimic a press, and create fatigue within your pec muscles. And as long as we created enough stimulus to create the required fatigue, like the required stimulus, your chest would grow. It'd be there for a while. But your chest doesn't go, oh, well, I'm not going to grow because you're using your fucking hand and pushing against me.
Well, like, the other day, lad, Angel jumped on me and she was like, sort of like on, she had like a leg wrapped around my body there. So it was like, yeah. And then I started doing RDLs. So it was like holding a plate, basically. It was like holding a whatever she weighs plate in my hands like this, and then doing RDLs with them. And the hamstrings and the glutes were just fucking on fire. It's like doing it like a proper set of RDLs. And I was like, yeah, just because it's just the same as holding a bar. There's no difference. But that's again sort of off topic, but every training program does work when people get offended.
If you do it right.
Yeah, if you do,
and that's the key thing. And this is a little bit off topic, but it does tie back to what we're talking about today. Like, as long as the thing that you do is done properly, and you manage fatigue, and you rest enough, and you're not doing too much volume,
consistent,
and it's consistent, and you do it in a way that you can actually progress, it will all work. CrossFit will work if you're the right build. if you recover enough, if your mobility is good enough, if it's a well-built training program. And I slag on CrossFit all the time, like, because it's just an easy target, isn't it? because, and this ties nicely into today, why CrossFit is such an easy target is because it's got a huge community. It attracts loads of people. So loads of people want to do it, which is fantastic. It's getting people into fitness. Great. But it's a highly skilled sport.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't do it properly, it does open up a lot of doors to injury and massive amounts of fatigue because it's like hit with heavy weights a lot of the time. So you can fuck yourself up really easily. But then when you look at, but it works because you look at like a professional CrossFit athlete, they're built like a fucking brick shit house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're managing their fatigue. It's a progressive training program. They've got good mobility. They're mitigating injury risk. But if you just go in gung ho, like I'm gonna do hip hinge movements 7 days a week with my like max weight every single session, and I'm gonna get 4 hours sleep. Well, good luck. You're gonna get back pain.
Your body will be like, not for more than 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah, and then that's when we were saying about your subconscious stepping in and going, no, you're not, dickhead. Oh, doing CrossFit, are you? Doing it 7 days a week, are you? Want to do some cardio on top of that, are you? No, you're not. No. Have this fever. Do it for 2 weeks. Yeah. Here's some back pain. Here's a knee pain. And have the flu.
It's true. But yeah, I feel like, is there anything else you want to speak about on top of what we've already spoken about?
I think specifically for the people I work with, you could do a lot more. And the biggest takeaway for me, for anyone who follows me, listens to my stuff, is interested in sort of what I do with my clients, the biggest thing you can take away is you could be doing a lot less with a little bit more effort, saving time, feeling better and getting more results just by training harder, less times a week, and training a little bit more focused, smart. I didn't want to say smart. A little bit more methodically, rather than just going with the intent of, I need to go and work hard every time I go to the gym.
It's quality, not quantity. I said that to you before as well.
Yeah.
Like,
focusing.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want this podcast to be is like I'm hating on people who go to the gym and work really hard, because I love that. Like if I get someone to come to me, like your mum, one of the things from her consultation is that she loves training and she trains really hard. And I'm like, great. I just want to take all that energy and direct it in the right way. And that's what I want to do with everyone I speak to. Like when I get clients and they're like, oh, well, I train 8 times a week. And I'm like, okay, fantastic. You have got super high energy for the gym. That is fantastic. We're now just going to channel that into like 4 incredible workouts. Or like 7 workouts, but 3 of them are going to be mobility. So you're actually going to be absolutely fantastically like agile and able to move really well. And you're going to get fantastic results rather than 6 spin sessions, 4 box exercises, 6 hours of cardio, 2 runs, and some dumbbell workouts in the middle of all that.
Yeah. It's like you can do it, but it's just the quality of the session is primary. Like the session itself isn't very stimulative, then it's sort of like, what the fuck's the point in that? Just train hard, properly, methodically, progressively, and put less time and effort in and get better results.
Yeah.
It's just it's more about quality than quantity. Is it? And then just stop training like a pussy.
Yeah.
Don't listen to this now and just stop training 6 times a week and start training 4 times a week, but continue training like a little bitch, because then that would be even worse.
Yeah. That there is that flip side, isn't there, where you have
if you're gonna train less and look to manage your recovery, make sure you train fucking hard. Don't be a bitch.
Yeah, if you need help with that, give one of us a message to come train with us, and we'll show you.
Yeah.
Like
Anyone who wants to, who's listening now, wants to jump in on a leg session, hit me.
anyone who thinks they're training at their maximum, show it, prove it. Something I said to my clients last week so every Monday we set goals in our group, and every time, so everyone put their goal in, was like, this one I'm gonna do this one I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and I just replied back, show me, don't tell me.
Nice. Yeah, I love that with online clients. They'll be like sending videos through, and sometimes I'll try and coach intensity a little bit through online, and then it gets to the point where some people sometimes are just like, you know what, it'd just be easier if you just come in for the session and
just
then just obliterate them. And now you know how hard to train. You now know how hard you can train. And I'll do that all the time.
This is a perfect talking point that we can end the episode on. We haven't confirmed the date yet, but at the start of December, we're going to be doing, and it's not a seminar. It's kind of a seminar. Yeah, we're going to hire out a gym. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring Coach Kamara clients, we're going to bring Better You clients, and we're going to bring both our communities together in a gym setting. And we're going to go through some different movements. We're going to talk about how to set up properly, safely, effectively, and which is going to be my favorite bit, and I know it's going to be your favorite bit, we're going to teach intensity. How to properly push yourself in a workout. And obviously the people that are there are going to have to be taken to that horrible place so that they know that they can actually go there, and we're going to show them how to go there safely.
Not everyone, by the way, just in case you want to come but you don't want to get absolutely fucked up.
Yeah, no, but if you want to come and see
voluntarily.
Yeah, volunteer. We're not just going to be like, everyone needs to get absolutely mashed up on a leg press. Like, no, but if you're interested,
everyone's quads.
If you're interested to see, like, okay, what does failure feel like, or what does failure look like, and how do I figure out whether I can do a little bit more? You need to see it. You need to experience it, or you need to at least see it. Like, remember, what was the guy called on the Muscle Mentors thing? The lad from...
He's from Ireland, isn't he?
He's from Ireland, wasn't it? Was it Joe?
I think so, maybe.
I'm sorry if you're listening, because I do follow you on Instagram, but I just cannot remember your name, and I like your content as well. Really rude of me, that. But he got mashed up on the leg extension, and it wasn't just like, just keep doing reps, like full reps. It was methodical, and if you see that, even if you don't experience it, you can understand, okay, well, now I know what to look for in me. Now I know what to change and where to push and where to back off, and when to actually end the set safely.
Yeah. So if anyone's interested in that, then give us a message. We'll probably run at the start of December, hopefully the first weekend in December. We are yet to confirm a date, but we would love you all to come. So if you set it up for our clients, but if anyone else wants to come as well, it's going to be open to the public. To the public, yeah. Tickets are like £600 a ticket for you guys. No, yes. If you just want to come, just give us a message. Yeah. And we'll let you know where it is and when it is. Fantastic. But if you're not one of our clients, you have to get mashed up on a leg press. Yeah. No, I think that was a good episode. That lad. I enjoyed the conversation. Yeah, good. Thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions, as always, any sort of things that you would like us to speak about in future, then please drop us a message. You can find me at coach.kamara, at jack.level10life. And if you know any muppets who train like absolute gimps, but train 9 times a week, just send them this podcast, because it will change their lives. And if you're the gimp who does that, then start listening to what we just said. Come to our seminar. Yeah, come. We'll explain it. Right. Thank you all. See you next week. See you later.